Hi there, and welcome back to Easy Peasy English, the podcast that helps you build real confidence in your English, one small step at a time. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Whether you're listening while cooking, walking, studying, or just relaxing, thank you for choosing to spend this time growing with me. Today's episode is about one of the most powerful, yet most misunderstood, ideas in learning anything new, the magic of daily practice. And yes, I said magic, because something truly transformational happens when you start showing up for yourself each day, even in the smallest ways. This isn't about forcing yourself or being perfect. It's about creating a rhythm. A habit. A relationship with English that feels natural, sustainable, and alive. Let me ask you something, have you ever said, "This time I'll study every day," and then stopped after 3 or 4 days? You're not alone. So many learners start with big goals, 30 minutes a day, 1 grammar lesson each night, 10 new words every morning. But when life gets busy, motivation fades, and those goals can feel overwhelming. What if I told you that you don't need big, dramatic efforts to make progress? What if your 5 minutes a day is more powerful than 1 hour every 2 weeks? Daily practice isn't about quantity. It's about presence. It's about building a habit that fits your life, even when things are messy, unpredictable, or stressful. Because let's be honest, you won't always feel motivated. Some days, you'll feel tired. Some days, English will feel hard. But showing up anyway, even just for a few minutes, is what separates learners who grow from learners who give up. And you don't need to show up with energy or excitement. You just need to show up with intention. That's where the magic happens. Consistency changes your relationship with the language. Instead of English feeling like a test or a task, it becomes something that lives in your day. It's not something extra. It's just something you do. And when something becomes part of your routine, like brushing your teeth or checking your phone, it stops feeling like pressure. It starts feeling like home. But here's the problem. Many learners still believe that learning requires pressure. That if they're not studying grammar or memorizing long vocabulary lists, they're not doing enough. So they push themselves hard for a few days, and then stop completely. But learning doesn't work like that. Your brain doesn't need a marathon. It needs a daily walk. A gentle, steady rhythm. A moment of attention that says, "Hey, I'm still here. I'm still learning. I'm still trying." You see, motivation is not what creates consistency. It's the other way around. Consistency is what creates motivation. You feel better after you do something. Not before. Think about exercise. You might not want to go for a walk. But after 10 minutes, you feel more awake, more alive, more proud. Learning English is the same. When you say, "I'll just do 5 minutes," you often end up doing more, not because you forced yourself, but because momentum carried you forward. And here's something important, 5 minutes is enough. Really. 1 sentence written. 1 paragraph read. 1 phrase repeated out loud. 1 podcast listened to while washing dishes. 1 YouTube short watched with subtitles. That counts. That builds your English muscle. That tells your brain, this matters. Because your brain remembers what you do often, not what you do occasionally. The secret isn't intensity. It's gentle repetition. Let me give you an example. I once met a woman who practiced English every morning while making coffee. No books. No notebooks. She just spoke out loud, "Today is sunny. I feel tired. I want toast." Simple phrases. Every day. For 3 months. And guess what happened? Her speaking confidence exploded. Why? Because she built fluency through her life. Not around it. She didn't add English. She lived in English. That's the difference. And the best part? When English becomes part of your day, it becomes part of your identity. You stop saying, I'm learning English, and start saying, I use English. That shift is subtle, but powerful. It means English isn't something you visit once a week. It's a language you carry with you. Daily practice also helps you move past perfection. When you practice every day, you stop treating each session like a performance. You know you'll get another chance tomorrow. So you stop overthinking. You start trying. You become less afraid of mistakes, and more open to growth. You also become more patient. You stop asking, why am I not fluent yet? And you start asking, what did I do today to connect with English? You stop judging your progress by test scores, and start noticing your own rhythm. I understood that line in a movie. I ordered food in English today. I remembered a word I learned last week. These are victories. Quiet ones. But they matter. One of the most common lies learners believe is, I need to do it perfectly or not at all. That's the all-or-nothing mindset. And it kills consistency. It tells you that 5 minutes isn't enough. That if you're not fully focused, you shouldn't even try. But that's not how learning works. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Even a distracted 5 minutes is better than nothing. Even a tired practice session is progress. And here's the truth, even if your practice isn't perfect, it's teaching you something. Every time you show up, you're telling yourself, I care. I'm committed. I believe I can do this. That builds identity. That builds trust. That builds momentum. So what does daily practice look like in real life? It can be anything that helps you touch English. Watching a short video. Listening to a podcast like this. Writing one sentence in a journal. Talking to yourself. Singing along to a song. Reading a tweet in English. Typing a comment. Anything. The key is, keep it simple. Keep it light. Keep it daily. Some learners think they need a perfect schedule or study plan. But honestly, what you need is repetition. Not perfection. Not intensity. Not complexity. Just repetition. Daily, gentle, consistent repetition. And here's something else, daily practice doesn't just help your English, it helps your mindset. When you show up every day, you begin to see yourself differently. You stop saying, I'm lazy, or I'm not good at languages. And you start saying, I'm consistent. I'm growing. I'm doing this. That shift changes everything. Because when you believe you're someone who shows up, even when life is busy, even when you're tired, you feel stronger. You feel proud. You feel powerful. Not because your English is perfect, but because your effort is real. And that's what I want you to take from today's episode. Daily practice isn't about studying harder. It's about staying close to your goal. Touching it. Remembering it. Letting it live in your day, even for just a few minutes. Because when you show up consistently, English stops being a goal in the distance, and starts becoming part of who you are. That's the magic. One of the biggest misunderstandings about daily practice is that it has to look the same every day. But the truth is, life changes. Your energy changes. Your schedule changes. And that's okay. What matters isn't how perfect your routine is. What matters is your return. Your intention to keep going. Some days, your practice will be full of focus and excitement. Other days, it might be quiet, soft, even distracted. But it still counts. It still builds your path forward. Think about it like watering a plant. You don't flood it once a week. You give it a little water every day. Some days, the sun shines. Some days, it's cloudy. But you still water it. You don't give up just because the weather isn't perfect. The same is true for English. Every touch matters. Every repetition helps your roots grow deeper, even if you can't see results right away. And that's one of the most powerful gifts of daily practice, faith in the invisible. Faith that something is happening under the surface. That your mind is growing stronger, your ears more sensitive, your voice more confident, even if it doesn't feel that way yet. It's like when you go to the gym, you don't see change after one workout. But you trust the process. You keep showing up. And over time, the change becomes visible, not just to others, but to yourself. Let me tell you something important. You don't need motivation to be consistent. You need systems. And systems are simply tiny behaviors that you repeat, not because they're exciting, but because they work. For example, putting on your headphones when you go for a walk. That's a system. Turning on subtitles while watching Netflix. A system. Keeping a sticky note on your mirror with one English phrase to say each morning. That's a system. Systems don't require energy. They just require repetition. Once something becomes part of your routine, it becomes easier to do than to skip. And when that happens, when English becomes something you automatically include in your day, that's when you truly begin to grow. But here's the part most people don't talk about: daily practice also shapes how you see yourself. Every day you show up, you're not just learning English, you're casting a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. A consistent person. A curious person. A person who doesn't quit. A person who takes small actions that build something big. Every yes to your daily practice is proof that you care. That you value growth. That you believe your voice matters, even if it shakes a little. That identity, the one you're building, becomes stronger with every small step. And eventually, you'll notice something magical: the effort becomes easier. The habit becomes lighter. You stop fighting with yourself about whether to practice, because it's just something you do. Just like brushing your teeth. Just like checking your phone. It becomes part of who you are. And when that shift happens, when English becomes part of your identity, not just your activity, something beautiful begins to grow. You start to speak with more confidence. You stop apologizing for your mistakes. You laugh when you mess up. You ask more questions. You stop thinking of English as something you're trying to learn and start treating it as a tool you're already using. Daily practice creates that. Not magic. Not motivation. Not pressure. Just gentle, consistent action, day after day, moment by moment. So if you're listening to this and thinking, "But I've failed before," let me gently remind you, you haven't failed. You've paused. And the beautiful thing about this journey is that you can start again, right now. With one sentence. One breath. One decision to touch English again today. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be real. Even listening to this podcast counts. It means you're showing up. It means you care. It means you're still walking. One thing I wish every English learner could understand is this: showing up imperfectly is more powerful than waiting for the perfect moment. So many people delay their practice because they think they need the right energy, the right mood, the right tools. They wait for the moment when they feel ready. But that moment rarely comes. And the longer they wait, the heavier it feels to begin again. But when you let go of that need for perfect conditions and simply begin anyway, even if your mind is tired, even if your focus isn't sharp, you reclaim your power. You remind yourself that effort matters more than perfection. That progress isn't built on big, dramatic moments, it's built on quiet decisions that no one sees. The kind of decisions you're making when you choose to keep going. Daily practice teaches you how to be kind to yourself. Because not every day will feel good. Some days, your sentences will feel messy. Some days, you'll forget the word that was on the tip of your tongue yesterday. Some days, you'll rewatch the same video 3 times and still feel unsure. But those days are not failures. They're simply part of the rhythm. A rhythm that includes both effort and ease, progress and pause, flow and frustration. Real growth doesn't come from punishing yourself into learning. It comes from building a relationship with your language. From checking in with it like an old friend. From asking, how can I meet you today, with honesty, with curiosity, with love. And yes, I said love. Because to learn a language is to believe in a version of yourself that doesn't exist yet. A version that speaks with more ease, connects with more confidence, and feels at home in English. That's a powerful thing. And when you practice daily, you are feeding that vision. Watering it. Nurturing it. Saying, I might not be fluent yet, but I'm building that version of me, day by day. Daily practice doesn't just teach you English. It teaches you how to stay when things feel boring, or confusing, or slow. It teaches you how to move forward without a finish line in sight. It builds a kind of quiet strength, the strength to stay with something, even when no one's cheering you on, even when progress feels invisible. And that's why it's magic. Because over time, that quiet strength becomes something unshakable. Something that spills into other areas of your life. You start showing up differently at work, in relationships, in your goals. You begin to trust yourself more, not because you always succeed, but because you keep showing up. And that trust changes you. You start saying, I don't need to rush. I just need to return. You stop chasing big wins and start celebrating small ones. You stop comparing your path to someone else's and begin honoring your own. Because your path matters. Your pace matters. And every single step, even the ones that feel too small to matter, adds up. So the next time you think, but it's just 5 minutes, remember this, 5 minutes is a seed. And seeds grow into forests, not overnight, but over time. The next time you think, but I missed a day, remember this, you didn't fail. You're human. And the most important thing is not that you never fall, but that you know how to return. And the next time you feel like your English isn't good enough, ask yourself, have I been showing up? If the answer is yes, then trust the process. Trust your roots. Trust your rhythm. Trust the person you're becoming. Because language learning isn't about chasing fluency. It's about learning how to stay connected, to yourself, to your effort, and to your voice. And daily practice is the bridge. It's the quiet rhythm that says, I may not see results today, but I believe they're coming. It's the steady voice that whispers, I'm not giving up. It's the soft commitment that says, even 5 minutes is enough, because it means I didn't quit. That's what makes daily practice so powerful. Not the results, but the relationship it creates between you and your goals. A relationship built not on pressure, but on patience. Not on perfection, but on presence. And day by day, that presence becomes your superpower. Let's imagine something for a moment. Picture yourself 1 year from now. Not just with better English, but with more confidence. You walk into a room, maybe a job interview, maybe a conversation with a stranger, and you're not perfect, but you show up. You speak. You listen. You express your ideas. You even laugh at yourself when you forget a word or mix up your tenses. And most importantly, you don't quit. Why? Because showing up is now part of who you are. You've built that identity, one day at a time. And it all started with something simple, daily practice. Daily practice doesn't just help you learn English. It helps you become someone who learns. Someone who's okay with slow days. Someone who trusts that tiny steps are still steps. Someone who wakes up and thinks, what's one thing I can do today to stay close to my goal? You don't need hours. You don't need a perfect study environment. You don't need motivation every single time. What you need is a reason, and a rhythm. Your reason might be personal. Maybe it's to travel. To make friends across the world. To study abroad. To understand the lyrics of your favorite song. To build a new life. It doesn't matter how big or small your reason is. What matters is that it belongs to you. And once you find that reason, you build your rhythm. Not a strict routine that makes you feel guilty when you miss a day, but a kind rhythm that invites you back in, even after a pause. Maybe it's 10 minutes with a podcast. Maybe it's a conversation with yourself in the mirror. Maybe it's writing 3 sentences in your journal before bed. These things don't seem like much on their own. But added up, they become your momentum. Your proof. Your path. And don't worry if it feels messy. Real practice is messy. Real learning is full of repeat mistakes. You'll forget the same word 5 times. You'll mispronounce something even after practicing it for weeks. That doesn't mean you're failing. That means you're in the middle of it, and that's where the transformation happens. You see, most people don't fail because they're not smart. They don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they stop showing up. They get discouraged when progress isn't loud. They give up during the quiet phase, the phase where you're growing roots underground. But if you can stay with it, if you can keep returning, even when it feels boring, even when it feels slow, that's where the magic lives. Because what if you believed that every single effort mattered? Every small sentence you spoke, every video you watched, every word you repeated under your breath, it's all shaping the way your brain connects with English. It's all creating your future fluency. It's all part of the journey. The learners who win in the long run aren't the ones who do the most in one day. They're the ones who do something every day. And they forgive themselves when they fall behind. They know that the secret isn't to be perfect, the secret is to return. Return to the page. Return to the video. Return to the app. Return to yourself. So if today's practice doesn't feel amazing, that's okay. You still did it. You still watered the seed. And tomorrow, you'll do it again. That's how fluency is built. That's how confidence is built. That's how trust in yourself is built, one imperfect day at a time. And here's the part many people miss: when you show up consistently, you fall in love with the process. Not just the results. You begin to enjoy your time with English. It becomes a space where you feel free. A space where you're allowed to be a beginner, to be curious, to explore. A space that belongs to you. You stop chasing fast success and start creating deep roots. You stop asking, how long will this take, and start asking, how can I stay connected today? And that shift, from pressure to presence, makes everything easier. And the beautiful thing is, once this becomes part of your life, it doesn't go away. Even if you pause. Even if you step back for a while. The rhythm is still there, waiting for you. The identity is still there. It doesn't disappear just because you had a hard week. It's yours. And it's ready when you are. So, my friend, if you've made it to the end of today's episode, let me remind you of something simple but powerful. You showed up. And that matters more than you know. It doesn't matter if your English was perfect today. It doesn't matter if you stumbled through a sentence or forgot a word. What matters is that you took a step, and steps, when repeated daily, create progress that no one can take away from you. Daily practice isn't just a habit. It's a decision to keep believing in yourself, even when no one is watching. It's how you build not just fluency, but resilience, trust, and quiet confidence that grows stronger each time you return. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to study for hours. You just need to stay close to your dream. You just need to keep going. So whatever happens tomorrow, whether it's 5 minutes of listening, 10 minutes of writing, or one short conversation, remember, it counts. It all counts. And I hope this episode reminded you that consistency doesn't mean perfection, it means presence. It means returning. It means choosing to walk your journey with heart, even when the path feels slow. Your effort is real. Your growth is happening. Your voice matters. And you, my friend, are doing better than you think. Thank you for spending this time with me today on Easy Peasy English. I'm so proud of you for showing up, not just for this podcast, but for yourself. And if today's message gave you even a little encouragement, I hope you'll carry it with you into your next step, and the next, and the next. Remember, daily practice is magic. Because it turns your dream into a lifestyle. And your effort into a future you'll be proud of. Until next time. Keep learning. Keep going. And most of all, keep being kind to yourself. You've got this. See you in the next episode.